Jimmy McAllister found the net. Goal for Wednesday. Terrific goal by Shayna.
Chris Waddle, is he going to have a crack?
Oh, he does, and it's goal. Still Glenn Wheeler. Aidan Fred works the Is there time for a winner?
Copy and paste, it feels like we've been here before, certainly when it comes to the results on the pitch. Another game where, to be honest, I thought we looked all right for large parts of the game, but once again we conceded late goals and lost for the fifth time in a row. Off the pitch, we certainly haven't been here before, not when it comes to losing our skipper anyway. Barry Bannan with a distinct possibility that he could well be leaving Sheffield Wednesday after a 10-year stint with the club. Nothing confirmed, but this is probably the closest that we've ever been to this happening during his time with the club. Hello and welcome to the Wednesday Tie-Dye Podcast. I'm James Mappin. This is the debate show. Lots and lots to talk about this evening. As always with this football club, you've all got so much to say on the socials. So please do get involved this evening. We'll be live for 90 minutes or so, as we normally are. So make sure you join us for the entirety. If you can't or you want to listen back to it, head over to Patreon, patreon.com/WTRD pod, and check out all the good stuff that you can get over there. Daniel's saying blank screen on YouTube. It's working for me, so do let me know if you can see me over there. I will just carry on until people let me know if it's working or not. Lots and lots to talk about, as I just said. I feel like the big talking point this evening and kind of the title of this show is Barry Bannan. Will he stay? Will he go? Not the song by The Clash, but it's rumoured that a number of clubs are interested in the 36-year-old. Millwall, Preston, Stoke, and a couple of Scottish clubs are said to be looking at him. Pedersen hasn't played that down either, rather confirmed it, to be honest. I must admit, I thought at the time, and clearly others did, judging by the reaction on the socials, that, was it Barry Bannan's last game for Wednesday last night when he got subbed off? Like I said, Henrik also said exactly the same thing. I know I got a few people saying, you just clickbait and things like that, but I mean, there wasn't anything to click on, but also, like I said, other people were saying it. It wasn't just me. So, but do you think he's going to leave? Have we seen Barry Bannan for the final time in a Sheffield Wednesday shirt? Have we seen Barry Bannan at Hillsborough for the last time? What's your hunch? I mean, he's on less wages. We're losing every week. Has he just had enough of the whole situation? I mean, judging by the attendance yesterday, not officially, but unofficially, just using your eyes and looking around and how many blank seats there were or empty seats, looks like fans have had enough as well. Everyone's got an opinion on it. Do let me know. There's a poll. If you're watching on YouTube, get involved in the poll. Will he stay? Will he go? Yes or no? Please let me know. I feel this will probably dominate the discussions this evening. But something else that I want to kind of bring up. Back on the 9th of January, Chris Wigfield issued a statement, and on the FAQ it said, the preferred bidder has deposited a large non-refundable deposit with the administrators and given further financial commitments to fund the club's losses until the process completes. Well, now it seems like we've gone from zero interest in any of the players to all of a sudden we've got clubs sniffing around Bannan, Cadamartre, Max Lowe, Yissa Allow as well. Obviously, I mean, the Allow interest, I think, kind of was pre the January window, if I'm being perfectly honest, but all the rest have come in the past week or so. I mean, those are the ones that we know about. I've also, ones that are kind of out in the public domain. I've also heard that there's been inquiries for Svante Ingolson. There's been inquiries for Jan Valery as well. Didn't the consortium meet with the administrators last week as well to talk about kind of transfers and stuff? But yeah, all of this seems to have happened in the past kind of week or so. I know it is the January transfer window and things do kind of start ramping up as we go further along, but then Alex has come out and in the Star and said that we will be kind of looking at offers and potentially might need to get rid of some players as well. So yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts on all of that. Does that mean that there's things happening with the consortium that perhaps might not, not be going according to plan? Or are we putting 2 and 2 together and getting 5 or 6 or something like that? Are we just panicking for no reason? I'm not saying that I'm panicking or anything like that, but it's certainly something to think about. In one player that I did mention, Bailey Cadamatre, a 20-year-old, is said to have 9 clubs interested in taking away from Sheffield Wednesday. According to Joe Cran, they've got Millwall, Hibs, Swansea City, Blackburn Rovers, Stoke City, Charlton Athletic, Luton Town, Wycombe Wanderers and Mansfield Town, all looking at him in this window, with that figure that administrators are happy to accept being around about £750,000 to £1 million. We know that a £250,000 bid wasn't good enough. That's what Hibs put in earlier or sometime last week. But yeah, do you think Cads will leave in this window? Is that, is the £750,000 to £1 million? Is that a fair price for Bailey Cadamatre? And of course, we can talk about the 2-0 defeat at the hands of Birmingham City yesterday. It looked like they'd won the league, I think, yesterday with the celebrations. I mean, what is it with the celebrations that clubs and fans have when they beat Wednesday at Hillsborough? I mean, look, happens every week, lads. Let's not get too excited about that one. I mean, another 3 changes by Henrik. 2 of them were forced. A first start for Jaden Heskett as well. Let me know what you thought about him. I mean, what did you make to the performance? I think for me, like I said at the top, I think it was probably one of our best performances in recent weeks. I mean, the stats certainly don't stack that one up, because I looked at the 20-odd shots they had, and we had, 1 shot on target. It certainly didn't feel like that as I was watching it, I must admit. And I kind of put my little thoughts on the whistle, and then I had a quick look at the numbers, and I thought, yeah, I think I said we shaded it, and they after the first half, and they had 8, 9 shots or whatever it was. But yeah, once again, get to the last stages. We've ran out of steam, conceding twice in the final 10 minutes of the game. It's now 22 games in all competitions that we've gone without registering a win. It's also the 6th consecutive game without scoring a goal. 5th straight defeat in a row. All the stats and all the runs that you don't want to be hearing as a football fan, but we are quite quickly ticking them all off. If you want to come up and speak, get over to Twitter Spaces or X Spaces. I still can't call it X anymore, but anyway, get over there, press that request to talk button and come up. I can see that Cherie wants to speak. Cherie, I'll come to you in a second, but if you want to speak, come over and have a chat. I'm just going to come to some comments. Super Alpha Live says, can't really see us getting anything at all for the rest of the season. Yeah, I think for me, I mean, just the target's got to be to get to 0 points or 1 point, which means we need another 7 or 8, depending on what you want. And I mean, it's only a couple of wins to get to that figure, but I just can't see us getting a goal, let alone a win. We need to string. We probably need at least we need 2 wins, don't we? Really, because we're not going to draw 8 games between now and then, are we? To be fair, so yeah. It's looking really, really bleak. Matt Potter says, could do with a I don't know option in the poll, as I don't have a clue. Come on, Matt, stick your neck on the line. Let's not sit on the fence. Is he going or is he not? I mean, currently it's fairly close, to be fair. Nat says, no one wants Baz to go, but surely everyone would understand if he does. Daniel's in the building as well. LM7970, that rolls off the tongue. Could you say with Bannan possibly leaving it as understandable, as now it's looking like the future of the club is looking better than when he re-signed under the previous owner? Is it looking better though? I don't know. Like, it's literally so up in the air. We don't know who the new owner is going to be. Well, we've got a hunch as to who it's going to be. If you're a betting man, you'd say it's going to be the James Board consortium, but obviously nothing's been signed off on that yet, and we don't really know what's going to happen with him, do we? We don't know what their plans are. We don't know how much money they've got. Literally everything is kind of up in the air. We haven't got a clue. I would like to think that they've probably not had any chats with the players, really, because they don't own the football club. Honestly, everything's all up in the air. You can't possibly say that we're on the up. If you were to, draw a graph in terms of where we are as a football club, I was saying this at the weekend, and I think I don't know if I feel worse now than what I do when he was in charge. because honestly, I mean, the only saving grace is he's not now here, and there is chance. We are going to get new owners at some point. But at the moment, it's turgid, isn't it? We're losing games week after week. I know it's going to get worse until it gets better, and hopefully in 6 months' time we can look back on these and go, Christ, like how bad was it then? But at the moment, when you're in the middle of it, it's really difficult. Steve BDI Smith says, well, it was a better performance, but still the same end result. Thought Heskey looked neat and tidy. Yep, agreed. Envious Stoke, hard work again. Liam says this is the therapy show. 90 minutes of therapy, as always. Matt says if Barry Bannan does leave, it would be nice if he came out with a statement telling us fans his reasons, even if we all know already, or doesn't just leave. It's the silence that kills us, I think. Yeah, I agree on that one. I saw Mark Gahey did a nice 5-minute video when he left Crystal Palace the other day. I feel like something similar would happen there. I mean, ideally, I would have preferred it. I mean, if he goes in this window, this now can't happen, but I would have preferred it if he would have kind of come out kind of, I don't know, pre-Christmas and said, look, this is what's happening. I've made the decision to leave Sheffield Wednesday and done all that sort of stuff, because all the next home games since then will be a sellout. Every single one. But we haven't really got the opportunity now. Unless he leaves in between the Wrexham game and when is the window shut? Tuesday, Monday, or whatever it is. Then he hasn't really got that opportunity. We've lost that opportunity to do that. Now, he might not have wanted to leave at the end of December, so it's all. But in an ideal world, with him being here as long as what he has been, I'd like to know before. I mean, does it change anything? Probably not, but it just looks nice, doesn't it? Anyway, let's get to Cherie. I'll come to the comments in a second, so do keep them coming in. Cherie, how's things? You okay?
Yeah, not bad, thanks, James.
Good. What do you want to talk about? I mean, the Barry Bannan one is probably the big thing to talk about. I suppose you've, in your time of following Sheffield Wednesday, you've probably not known anything else other than Barry Bannan, have you? Really?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's been here for what, over 10 years now. He is Mr. Sheffield Wednesday, isn't he, at the moment? And I mean, did you obviously this point was going to come at some point? I mean, I'm talking as if he's already gone. He hasn't gone, obviously, but we're not sure whether he is or he isn't. It's the closest that we've ever have come to him potentially leaving. How do you feel about the whole situation?
I hope he doesn't go, because if he does, I will be gutted.
Yeah, me too as well. I mean, he's, like I said, he is Mr. Sheffield Wednesday. He gives us the kind of, when it comes to the creativity. At the moment, he is the one that has got the most creativity and things. And I mean, does he want to stay in League One though, Cherie? That's the thing, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, that's the thing, mate. And I was like, he bleeds blue and white for his football club.
Yeah, 100%, definitely. I mean, what did you think to yesterday's performance, Cherie?
I thought we did deserve to lose that, to be honest.
We didn't deserve to lose, did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was the best we've played in, certainly in the past couple of weeks, definitely. In this kind of run since the Hull game. I think, because we played all right against Hull as well, but since then I think we did all right. And I think we're just lacking up top, aren't we, Cherie? We're getting to the final third, and it's another one shot on target. We're averaging one shot on target in the past 5 or 6 games, and this, even though we played better, we just can't quite get those shots on target, can we?
No, and I can't believe how close Callum March was. I thought, when he hit the post, I thought that was going in there.
Well, to be fair, actually, I mean, I said this at the time, it was probably the worst thing that we could have done, because after that, it kind of gave Birmingham that bit of a kick up the arse, didn't it, really? And because I think most teams are not really firing on all cylinders when they come up against us. They probably know that they can beat us in second gear fairly easily, and we're going to tire come 60, 70 minutes. But after that, I think they've realised, oh, actually we could lose this game, and it kicked them into gear a bit, didn't it? And then it was just unfortunate with the goals. The goal that they scored, it's going wide. It's the worst shot you've ever seen. It's going about 5 yards wide, and it just happens to hit that. Well, the other guy guides it in, doesn't he, from close range. Did you, at the time, did you think he was offside? I certainly did, anyway, when I was watching it.
To me, it looked offside.
Have you seen it back, though?
Yeah.
And what do you think now you've watched it back?
To me, it does look like he was offside.
I think it. Well, when you freeze it, when the ball gets struck, I think it's Cole McGee that just doesn't get out quick enough, which is a real shame. To be fair, but yeah. How do you feel as a whole, Cherie, when you think about the whole situation? You know, where the football club is at the moment. You know, we haven't scored a goal in, what is it, five games now, 6 games that we haven't scored in all competitions. We're still no further forward in terms of knowing who the owners are going to be. You know, I mean, it could be James Board and things like that. But how do you feel at the moment? Because a lot of people voted with their feet yesterday and decided not to come. I know people have got their excuses and they live further away and stuff like that, but there was a lot less people there than normal for a midweek game.
Yeah, and it's a sad situation to see the stadium empty as it is.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? I mean, I put a picture out, kind of a minute or two into the game yesterday, which has been other fans, let's say, have took great pleasure on seeing Hillsborough not full at all. But you know, they were certainly not 20. What was it? What was the official attendance? 22,000. It certainly wasn't 22,000 there, was there?
No, it didn't seem like it. No, and to be honest, no, mate, grandstand is quite full, and that's been quite anxious for the past few games where I sit.
Yeah. I mean, we spoke about this on Extra Time last week, Cherie, talking about how long it would be for Wednesday to get back to kind of, you know, back to being a championship club that's kind of competing for the top 6. And obviously we're going to head back down into League One next season. That's going to be confirmed mathematically at some point in the coming weeks and months. But how long do you think it's going to take to rebuild? I mean, can you see us bouncing straight back, or do you think it's going to take a lot longer than that?
It's going to take a lot longer than that because obviously we're picking up the pieces from what he's left behind.
Yeah, and I feel like he's got away scot-free as well, and to think he's going to get some money from it all, which I think is the worst thing of it all, really. You know, he's going to walk away with X amount of millions of pounds when really he should get absolutely nothing, which he doesn't deserve a penny. Cherie, what else do you want to talk about? Is there anything else that you want to chat about? I
was impressed with Jaden last night.
Yeah, he looked good, didn't he? I mean, obviously he had 10 minutes in, or 20 odd minutes in the game before against Portsmouth, but obviously he got a start, and I feel like he just got better as the game went on. To be honest, he kind of, yeah, he was all right. Weren't he? A decent signing that we've brought in.
Yeah, and I was impressed with Murphy Cooper as well.
Well, he certainly had a lot to do, didn't he, with the 20 odd shots that they had. I think he made 6 saves, I think, in the end. They got a bit excited when he thought he'd walk the ball into the back of the net, but I think he's just got nice long arms, which saved him there. But yeah, he's for me. I heard a lot of Barnsley fans saying that he's a good shot stopper. He's not great coming for crosses, and he's a bit small and things. And I think that's probably fair. We've seen his shot stopping ability. I think all right, a few were straight at him, which made it a little bit easier. But he's one that, yeah, from crosses. I mean, he likes to punch them, doesn't he? Really, which I don't mind. I don't mind that, Cherie. If you're going to come and punch it, as long as you punch it well and you get it out of the box. And look, we haven't conceded from a set piece yet with him in goal, so he must be doing something all right.
Yeah, he must be.
I mean, would you take him? No, for example, I mean, I'm not sure what his contract situation is like at Queen's Park Rangers, but for example, I mean, I know he's only played 2 games, but you know, if we were to lose Pierce Charles and he perhaps, or even if we still have Pierce Charles, would you have him as a number 2 or even the number 1 next season?
Oh, definitely him as number 2.
Yeah, definitely. Sure. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we move on?
Saturday's game.
Yeah, Bristol City. What was the score? The other 3-0, was it, when we played them at our place?
I think it was, yeah.
I think it was, yeah. So I was going to say we're looking to, put some revenge on them, but maybe not, given how we're playing. And you never know. The squad, I know it's on Wednesday, and the game's in a couple of days' time, but the squad could look a lot different between now and then. I hope it doesn't. I hope no players do leave. But what's your thoughts heading into this one? I can't see us getting anything out of any game, really. A point is a bonus for me. I mean, I said yesterday, keeping it under 3 goals will be a moral victory. 2-0 moral victory for me on that one. But I feel like it is just a case of damage limitation. Sherry, I tweeted the other day saying, yesterday morning, is there not a point where we just have to go for it? And what do you just want to see us have a go? I mean, a lot of people said, well, we're going to lose 5 or 6-0 if we do that. What's your take? Would you mind us losing by 5 or 6, but just actually having a chance of even scoring a goal?
Well, obviously the lads are putting in effort and trying their best every game.
Yeah, but we're just losing every time. One shot on target. I know we had a few more shots than what we normally do, and there was a little bit to cheer about. There was a few oohs and ahs when we got close. Bannan'S effort that went just over the bar.
Yeah.
Again, it was a little bit more positive, but I don't know if I just want to see us have a go. Because the season's done. It's absolutely done. I mean, I know getting spanked 6-0 is horrible, and it'll be horrible for the players and stuff. But we haven't stood up and cheered a goal since Boxing Day. Boxing Day seems absolutely. Really? Well, we haven't scored since then, have we? We've seen 10 goals go in. The opposition have scored 10 without reply. We haven't scored since Bailey Cadamartri on 60 minutes against Hull City on Boxing Day. That's the last time that we scored a goal.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not great, is it, at all? Sheree,
no.
Anything else you want to say before we move on?
You want to score prediction for Saturday?
Go on then, come on, Sheree. Positive. We're going to get it right at some point. What's the score going to be on Saturday?
Do I have to have a positive one?
You can have no. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be positive. But I just mean you might get one right because what's it going to be? What's it going to be?
1-0 Wednesday.
1-0. Look, I'll take that. I will snap your hands off for a 1-0 win on Saturday against Bristol City.
It'd be nice if we get an away win.
Any win will do. Away,
any
home,
win
anything.
And you know what? To be honest with you as well, I feel like relegation is the best for us because then we can get relegated and just completely rebuild.
Yeah, definitely. And look, if some of these players leave that are rumoured to be leaving, if clubs do come in for them, then yeah, it's just a massive reset in it for next season, and we can start again and build a new Sheffield Wednesday, new owners, new everything, and
and obviously, hopefully Barry Bannan doesn't leave.
Exactly. Well, fingers crossed. Sheree,
he doesn't go.
Yeah, great stuff. Sheree, thanks for coming on. Do really appreciate it.
Thank
always.
you.
Always great to chat to you. I've got Paul that wants to speak. Paul, I'll come to you in a second because I've got lots and lots of comments on YouTube as well. Matt says, wasn't the payment only to get us through to the end of January? Maybe I'm wrong on this. My understanding is that the money that we had kind of raised in that first weekend, when it was the Oxford game, weren't it? And then I think we had Norwich in midweek, and they came out and said that we'd spent over £500,000 in the club shop and tickets and things. At that point, it was the fans forum, weren't it, that the trust had organised. Chris came out and said that we have enough money from various other things as well. I think someone had actually there was that anonymous £1 million that someone had given to the club. We have enough money that was enough money to get into the end of January. They've obviously had the payments from Sky. They've also had the solidarity payment from the Premier League, and also then this non-refundable deposit that the board consortium have put in. Apparently and they've also given assurances that they'll pick up any sort of debt or anything like that, or any losses that the club are making between now and the end of the season. So, but then the reason why they're looking at selling players is if that consortium, if they fail the fit and proper test, or they pull out, or whatever happens, then they need money to survive until the next new owners come in. So I think it's if you read the Alex Miller article, it talks about Rangers and they rejected bids for certain players. I think they rejected a £1.8 million bid for a player, and then they got fined as a administrative company, and they had to pay over £2.5 million or something back. So I think they're guarding against that, really. So it's not we have got more money until the end of January. Nat says, is it a case of getting money for the players that don't want to play in League One next season instead of letting them leave for free in the summer? Potentially, I guess there is that. I mean, some of those have got contracts longer than the summer. I know Barry Bannan, his deal ends in the summer. Max Lowe's deal ends in the summer as well. But yeah, I suppose there is that element. But I mean, how much are we going to get for Barry Bannan? What we're talking? Rumoured £400,000 is being rumoured. I don't know how much that's going to increase. How much can you get for a 36-year-old? Cadamartri, I think his deal doesn't end in the summer. I think he's got one until the end of next year. So it's a great point. It's a great point to make. Matt says it's all becoming a bit of a joke. Alex, offer Bannan a new contract as soon as we are taken over. He is Wednesday through and through, and we need him. Daniel, do we have to talk about the result? You don't have to, Daniel, if you don't want to. Ryan Princess says seasons was over in October. Do the players want to leave? Some on contracts running down. Better to cash in now and lose for nothing. Mark, Luton, Mansfield and Wickham. What an embarrassment. Liam, 21 without a win, championship record and a club record. Nat says, what contract did Baz sign in the summer? Was it only a 6-month deal on $7,000 a week? With hopes the takeover would be happened by now and his salary increased. Now, my understanding was it was $7,000 a week, and it's a deal until the summer. I mean, he got shit on massively. When he signed that, he came out and said that he had a deal. The club had an option to extend it. They just didn't extend it, and then just renegotiated terms, and then we couldn't offer him more than $7,000 a week. So I mean, yeah, what a shitter that was. And I mean, really, should he have stayed? I thought he should have gone in the summer, not from a fan perspective, but just from a player perspective more than anything else. Let's have a look. Let's see what the poll's saying. 52% say yes, Barry Bannan will leave during the transfer window. So very, very close. Let's come to Paul then, who's been waiting. Paul, how's things, mate? You okay?
Yep, I'm good, man. Well, sort of, in a fashion.
Well, you're good. You're good. But the club and Sheffield Wednesday, maybe not so, but that's not changed for quite some time, has it, at the moment?
James, can I ask, has it calmed down in Birmingham yet? From winning the European Cup last night?
I think they've been partying all last night in Sheffield. It was a rip-roaring trade on West Street for,
I'll tell you what, man. I had to blink about 5 times to see whether I was still in Hillsborough or was at San Sierra. Fucking sorry. Oh, it's just ridiculous.
Well, I mean, look, we are a massive scalp, aren't we, clearly? These
clubs you know what? It's quite interesting because you know what you've said about take the handbrake off, which I'm all for. I'm with you on that 100%. What I would say is the people saying, we'll get hammered 6-0. Have they actually watched the championship this season?
Yeah, I know.
Have they actually watched it? We are not that bad. The issue that we are is, for me, and I'll say it over and over again, we've got a coach who's not a manager. I'm sorry, I can't. Every week I go, I know what's going to happen. On 60 minutes, they're going to turn the pressure up a little bit because we're tired. Henrik's going to look like he's engaged in the game. He's going to push encouragement. And he's going to wait too late for the substitution. They're going to score. Then he's going to put Nathan Redmond on 87 minutes.
Is there not an element of his hands are tied behind his back, though, Paul? Because
he's got a bench. He's got a bench. His hands are tied behind his back. Off field, the guy's an absolute wizard. On field, I respect him, obviously, immensely for what he's doing. But, yeah, these kids... And emphasis on kids. Some of these kids are 20-year-old. I'm not talking about Alao, who really is an absolute gem, who, again, that could come back and bite us severely on the backside. Some of these kids have got legs to run. I mean, I just can't understand. There's hundreds and hundreds of tactics. I'm still watching Ingelsson throwing a long ball. It's just pointless. Yeah. It's just silly. have a go. If it doesn't work, so what?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I suppose, you can't change all 11 players, can you? So you bring the subs on, and yes, they've got a little bit of, a little bit more energy than the others. I mean, like, for example, when Charlie McNeil came on yesterday, I said to Steve, he just needs to run and run and run. He needs to be trying to get him behind and stuff. And I saw him, and he would, he didn't have as much impact as I perhaps thought he would. He had a couple of chances that, I said chances, like, I mean, in terms of trying to get on the ball and run past his man and things. But I think it's just really easy to play against us because we are so one-dimensional, and that's not for me.
Frightening.
For me, I don't think that's on Henrik though, because I'll back him up. I mean, I do agree. I do think, hand on heart, he isn't a manager. He is much suited to being a coach. If anything, actually, when I went to that evening with Henrik Pedersen and he told his story about when he was at Red Bull and the things that he's done, and he went off to New York and all these other countries that he went to whilst he was at Red Bull, in kind of a, not necessarily, it weren't really, it was more like a talent identification program that he was kind of running.
Yeah.
That's what, that director of football or something, for me, is where his skill set lies.
Yeah, 100%.
Setting the philosophy of the football club and the direction and kind of looking at what type of players we're going to be bringing in. That's where I want Henrik Pedersen, not really picking the starting 11 and doing the training on the pitch and stuff. Probably he's a bit stretched. I think he's at breaking point at the moment as well. We've got Bristol City on Saturday, we've got Wrexham, then we've got Blackburn, we've got games coming thick and fast again. On one of these next 2 or 3 games, I think he's just going to flip his lid at some point and really just, add enough, especially if players leave as well. If players have gone and he's having like the rug pulled under his feet, and he really
I mean, the issue for me off field for him, it's terrible. This, at what point, I know it's out of the administrator's hands, but they're still there at Hillsborough, which supposedly means they're still getting paid. Now, I'm a little bit concerned here. I.e., the EFL, it's taking them absolutely ages for anything to come out. Listen, if these prospective buyers don't get put through, but what we're going to sell next to Tea Lady, it's taking a long time without very much coming out. And I know it can't because of NDAs, but I think everybody's at breaking point. We're potentially going to lose the soul of the club in Barry Bannan. And yeah, it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be one player that runs the club. But unfortunately, because of the last person running this club, Barry Bannan has been the focal point. Take Barry Bannan out of that club now, and whatever it was last night, nobody will be going because he's the only person worth watching.
Well, I've seen people saying, what's happened to all these like initiatives of buying tickets and stuff. I mean, it all died after losing to them lot down the road in the Steel City derby. I think that was the point where people thought, this is going to be proper shit. This, there was a bit of a buzz, weren't they, after the administrators came in and stuff, and then after that it just died a death. And I mean, the product's just not there, is it really? Like, when you're losing every week, 36. I sat on the north, and I had a ticket at the side of me. Lad who sits at the side of me didn't come. He hadn't been coming for quite a while due to work and stuff. So I said to my dad, like, I've got a ticket for tomorrow, Dad. Do you want to come? Nah, I'm not bothered.
Yeah.
I said to my mate at work, I said to my mate at work, I've got a ticket for tomorrow. I mean, to be fair, I brought him. Was it the Derby game when we got beat 3-0? And he was like, I mean, he said, I had to apologise for even inviting him, but I asked him again, and he's like, nah, I'll rather stay at home.
Well,
it's 36 quid it cost for that ticket. Can't even give it away. And this
is another argument, James. That is another argument. We've paid for something here that the EFL are involved in that we're getting shortchanged from. Hang on a minute. We've got to sign players, but we can't. We've got to sell players, but we can't sign players. We've got to wait for them to ratify a new owner, what's going on. It's just absolutely ridiculous. At what point do some of the fans go, I've paid 36 quid to watch this in advance? And, listen, fair enough. It's the last owner. It's nothing to do with the EFL, but they put that owner in charge. They let him run this club to the point it has been run at. Where's the checks being done pre this? Where have they been done?
Man City players have paid, haven't they, for the tickets for that defeat that they had yesterday. Everyone that went, they've reimbursed the tickets.
Well, that's all right, because they've got 134 charges that they've not paid for yet.
Well, there's a point where I'm thinking I might do that with my season ticket. You know, obviously I'm not. It's a joke, obviously, but you know what I mean. Like,
well, it's absolutely gone mad. I mean, you know, what's going on with the game? We're struggling to get hold of a lone player from Man City, yet, and you know, I think. I don't know anything, and I've got no source to say this, but Ben Wilkinson, the under-21s manager at Man City, it won't surprise me if he's had a great been a great help in getting that lad to Hillsborough, because he's a Wednesday fan, isn't he, Ben? And he was at Wednesday Academy for a while, and he's gone on to manage Man City under-21s. So you know, there's a great sort of lead into Man City's youth setup there. You know, I'm sure Bennell can tell the coaches everything about Esky and how well he's doing. But just going back to the main argument, if this mess doesn't, because it might not be a mess, I might be over exaggerating, but I've got no other way of believing it's not a mess. If it doesn't happen, it's going to be an absolute mess, because we've got a complete rebuild to do. It should really have started for me in February by picking up a few free transfers or looking at some loans that potentially want to come next season. That's going to go. If we lose Bannan, that's a joke. Actually, I'm not Cadamarteri's biggest fan, I must say. But however, last night, I felt so sorry for the lad. On maybe 60-something minutes, he was going up for the ball and there was 4 to 5 players around him and there was nobody there anywhere near him. They just hustled the ball off him, and I just thought, what's going on?
He's been feeding off scraps for many weeks. Well, he's not even been feeding off scraps, though, has he, really? He's been feeding off absolutely nothing. I think he's had a really tough time. I just want to bring this comment up from Steve. Steve BDI Smith says, 5 minutes ago, he said we weren't that bad. Make up your mind. Steve, just want to address that one. Like, I think both can be true. I think not that bad. I think it's relative. It's relative to kind of what we've seen in previous weeks. You know,
absolutely.
Portsmouth was awful. You know, even the games before that, absolutely terrible. So I thought, in relative speaking terms, it's all right. But when you look at the bigger picture and you look at 21 games we are to win, minus 7 points, you know, it's not good, is it? That's the point I'm making.
Mate, what you're saying is 100% right. Have a go. Let's have a go. What we got to lose? I'm watching Stoke versus Middlesbrough, and I'm not kidding. I could be watching National League. It's you know, it's rubbish.
I think for me, I do get the point that, you know, we could have a go and we could get Dick 6-0 and stuff. I get that. You're leaving yourself exposed and things. But I think now it comes to a point where I would rather, you know, we get beat anyway every week, but it's just that chance of just scoring a goal. Bannan had a shot. It went, narrowly over the bar, and you like went, ooh, and I was like, bloody hell, I've not done that, made that noise for a couple of weeks.
It's always Bannan as well, isn't it? What's really winding me up, and I mean really winding me up, apart from Svante Ingelsson taking every single throw into the box to no avail, is the fact that when on a corner on a set piece, there is no outlet. And the guy at the side of me said, what do you want him to do? I said, I'll tell you what I want to do. I have a bit of imagination. Why not put Cadamarteri on the halfway line? Because he will take 2 people out of that box.
Yeah.
And he doesn't do it. And I'm like, that for me, James, is unforgivable.
Don't get me started. I mean, I know you're on the same page with that one on defending corners. You don't, the opposite, you know, Birmingham did it. Every corner we had.
Yeah.
They didn't put. I think it must be the modern thing. Zonal marking and every man back for a corner. There must be some stat that says that you're better.
Sick of these stats, man. I'm sick of these stats. I'm sick of these. Do you know what? Stick Chris Waddle, stick Cantona, stick Di Canio. Put a vest on them all and say, oh, they're not running, so they're not playing. There's got to be a point where it doesn't matter. It doesn't work. Do you know, if a player's naturally gifted like Bannan, it doesn't matter if he runs 10 metres or 100 metres. There's a point where this AI is an absolute joke. You know, it's just ridiculous now. And I really, really do think we're making this a lot harder it's already difficult, but sometimes I think we make the football game a lot harder. Just aside from that, I thought the young lad did brilliant last night until that back pass when he was too tired and he should have been took off before.
Cole McGee. Yeah.
I think he was just tired.
I mean, one thing, I know Henrik picked up on this in his post-match, but when the players kind of rallied around him, he could see that he were gutted, that with what he'd done.
Yeah.
The players came over to him and, gave him a bit of a, don't worry about it kind of thing. And it was, if you watch as well, it's the youngsters that did that first as well. I mean, look, they're all pretty much youngsters on the pitch, aren't they? But they all came over to him. They all, don't like, well, I'm guessing saying, don't worry about it. It happens, whatever. Yeah, it was just.
He was incredible last night, wasn't it? He was as well. Otibayo. I thought he was brilliant last night. But again, they just tire. And
I must admit, just on that, Otibayo, please don't do Cruyff turn in your own box. I mean, I admit it, but a lot better. But there's a time and a place to do that, and it's not in your own 18-yard box. Put it that way.
Oh, listen, I mean. The thing for me next season is, as we all know, League One's a very different league, and I actually think we'd be the bottom of League One with this squad because there's no heart. And also, I'd like to wonder how many of these players. You talk about Barry Bannan, who's potentially playing with an injury. He's 36-year-old. We've got 14 people out. How many of them 14 people want to actually play? That's what worries me.
Well, go on then on the Barry Bannan's thing. What's your take on it all? Do you think he's going? Do you think he's staying?
I think if Barry Bannan goes now, it'll taint him a little bit. This is just my personal opinion. When you pick up at the beginning of the season and you're in for the fight, you can't really leave halfway through it and just go, oh, you know what, I'm off. It's a little bit. He'll always be a legend. Don't get me wrong, and I wouldn't blame him for going. Not at all. But if he did go, it'll just be like, oh, you remember. It'd just be like another Fletcher who went or a Hooper who went. He's not going to have the send-off he deserves. That's just my opinion. I feel that.
But what about if it comes down to money, though? What he's on $7,000 a week. He's been on $20,000 a week. Pretty much all his time.
Can't Ugbo borrow him a few quid?
And well, Ugbo is the highest paid player at the club.
That's a potential massive problem as well, because the thing is with Ugbo is who's going to want to take him. And who's going to want to pay him that money? And am I wrong, James? I think he's got another 2 years after this.
Yeah, he has, mate. Yeah, that's mad. That's mad, isn't it? Like, I mean, on the Discord, we were talking about like kind of worst transfers, like 20. Like, what's the top like 10 or 15 worst transfers? And I'm going to do a bit of an episode on that at some point. But he has to be well up there, just with the. What is it? Is it 50-odd games or something that he's played?
Do you know something, James? I feel that, again, just reverting back to Henrik, I've got to say that I don't think he helps the lad. You cannot play one up front. None of our forwards are good enough to play what he's trying to do with them. None of them. And I feel that Ugbo scored all his goals with distractions around him, whether that's Paveda running at him, Masaba running one way, Gassama running the other way. He's not that sort of player that they're trying to get him to play. And we've always done it at Wednesday. We did the same with Jordan Rhodes. I mean, for God's sake, as well as a new owner, can we have a little bit of common sense? When we buy a player, a square peg, put him in a square hole.
Yeah. I mean, what's your take on players that, the news that the administrators are actually going to kind of listen to offers for players and that some players might be leaving? What's your take on that, Paul?
Well, get your boots, James, because I don't know who's going to play. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous because the EFL, like I say, reverting back to the EFL. Oh, you can't sign anybody. Oh, you've got to sell people. What an absolute joke this is. I mean, it's so. My opinion is the young lad who looks like an absolute star clearly isn't getting interest from mid-table Premier League. It's your Chelseas, it's your Liverpools, it's your Man U's. He's getting interest for a reason. Now, if you sell him, fair enough. But if we're going to listen to sensible offers, stick 3 million on him. And everybody's going to go, oh, you stupid, man. You don't know what you're on about. I'm in 2026. I'm in 2026 now. I'm not in 1990. If that lad's ceiling's that high, let him pay for him. Kadamatri, personal opinion, not good enough. Not good enough for me. I like him. He looks like a footballer. Will I ever see his full potential? I'm not seeing it now because of the position he's playing. But when he has played in a two, I always thought, is he good enough? There was always a question mark. If you can get £1 million for him, 1.5 million maybe, Barry Bannan, absolutely not. I think if a new owner comes in and uses their heads, there's a captain there that you can build a little bit of a thing around the legendary status.
The thing for me, just on Barry Bannan, I feel like, for example, Millwall are sniffing. I think they're fairly keen on bringing him in. He'll be kind of like the final piece to the jigsaw for Millwall, maybe. You know, they're fourth so far in the league. They're obviously looking to get into the playoffs, maybe even top two if they can put a bit of a run together. And I feel like if you've already got a decent squad and you're playing well, adding a Barry Bannan in there might just give you them extra, 5-10 goal involvements or something like that throughout the course of between now and the end of the season, which might get you them extra points that you might need. Whereas, I don't know, to then perhaps have him in League One and try and build a team around Barry Bannan again for what's probably at least the 7th or 8th season. I don't know. I don't think it's not got the longevity, has it really? That if new owners are coming in and they're going to talk about being sustainable and all that sort of stuff, I don't know. I just don't think signing or keeping a 36-year-old striker to be the midfielder to be the focal point of your team again. Because there's going to be a point where he's not going to be there, isn't there, really, Paul? And I just think, I don't know. And then would he stay just to be a kind of a bit part player are you going to give him them sort of wages that he's going to want? I don't know. Paul dropped off, but he's back again. Paul, I'm talking to myself there, mate. You there? You there? Paul, are you there?
Can you hear me, mate?
Yeah, I can hear you. You dropped off and I didn't even realise, but you're there. Paul, you muted yourself, pal. While Paul just sorts his mute button out, I've no idea what he's doing. Paul, you might have to drop off and come back on again. I'll read some messages out whilst Paul sorts his phone out. But whilst Paul's doing that as well, if you do want to come up and speak, there's no queue. Press that request to talk button. I can see there's people in the X spaces. Come and have a chat. Let's hear what you've got to say about the whole situation. Everyone's got so much to say on the socials behind the keyboard, but come up and have a chat. Come up and say what you think. Chris says we need to go for it, not to lose. Bob says, I think we need a sweepstake on which game will be officially relegated. I'm going 10th of March, Watford at home. Steele says, injuries and fitness is killing us and we can't last over 75 minutes and onwards. Manager needs to go, leave Charles till the end of the season. Look, Henrik Pedersen is not going to go whilst we are still in administration. That's just not going to happen. You can't be asking the EFL if we can sign players and then just suddenly just pay a manager off and bring a new manager in. I just don't think it's going to work like that. Paul, are you back?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, mate.
Hey,
yes.
No.
Yeah.
I was just saying, look at how far have we fallen from a club? I mean, Millwall, Stoke, Preston, no offence. I mean, Preston, I don't know why they don't come in for all the players.
Well, by all accounts, Millwall are in for most of them. I heard that there was a meeting yesterday with their I don't know what position he would be at Millwall, but sporting director I think it is, and Kevin Beadle yesterday. By all accounts, they've inquired about Ingelsson. They inquired about Jan Valery. Obviously, they've looked at Bailey Cadamatre. They're looking at Barry Bannan. I mean, Christ, imagine that just to swoop in and take 4 or 5 of your players and just see you later. But
I'm not sure whether Ingelsson, it's in his best interest to do that. I'm just going to sit on the fence.
Ingelson's League One.
Not Ingelsson, sorry. I've made a mistake there. Valery, I agree with you what you're saying there on Ingelsson. For me, if I was Jan Valery at 27-year-old, just coming back from AFCON and potentially World Cup, I'm going to the end of the season and I'm going where I want to go for a fee. If you're asking me to go and join Millwall, do you know what? I'll just wait for that.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely leaving at the end of the season without a shadow of a doubt. Like, if his agent does not get him a move somewhere else, then I think his agent needs to sort himself out because, playing in the World Cup and then suddenly playing in the third tier of English football, he's better than that, and he really.
You wouldn't sign for Millwall if you were Jan Valery, would you, in January, unless the wages and the deal were brilliant?
Yeah, but you said that, but what if Millwall get to the Premier League and then you're now a Premier League footballer again? So, and then that potentially could get you a move to a Premier League club. Do you know what I mean? You don't know, do you? And money as well. I mean, I don't know how much money Millwall have got, but yeah, that's another thing.
I won't like to bet, but if Millwall get to the Premier League, I'm not watching football again. At the end of the day, mate, Millwall in the Premier League. I mean, God, it's like saying Rotherham's winning the European Cup. It's not. It's just if it were top. I mean, yeah, they're top six. Fair enough. I'm not giving them the respect they probably deserve. But
they're fourth, aren't they? Are they fourth? Well, they were before yesterday. I don't know what happened.
Who's the manager, James? Who's the manager there?
Oh, it's Alex Neil.
Oh God,
the guy who used to be at Sunderland, didn't he? But
the
fifth. Did they lose yesterday? Yeah, they lost. Cov lost 2-1 to Cov, but yeah, I get what you're saying, but I think if you win the games, then you deserve to be up there, don't you? I do agree though that this championship is. Well, you can have go two ways about it, can't you? You can say it's very competitive, but having seen some of the games, I just don't think it's.
Oh, it's poor, isn't it?
Which makes it even more frustrating. Last season's squad, we'd be up around the playoffs. Do you know what I mean? We'd be up there, this time of the season if we had the Gasamas, your Masabas, and Josh Windass and all those sorts of players, and.
Hey, listen, with last year's squad, mate, I think we'd have had a shout this year.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. That's what I thought. I thought we'd be all right. But
if it sold the club in the summer, we'd have had a shout this year.
Yeah, I know this. I often think about that. Like, what?
Do you know what? It's that bad, James. He's probably sat at home wherever he is, thinking, "Hey, it won't be like this if I were there."
I'd love to. I'm about to say I'd love to know what he is doing. I don't actually. I don't want to think about him.
Well, mate, he might be buying another football club in 3 years. That's all right, isn't it?
He needs to be nowhere near buying any sort of football clubs at any point. Really, nobody going anywhere near him with a barge pole. Would you? I mean, imagine if your club's up for sale and he comes knocking. You wouldn't even open email, would you? You just delete it straight away.
I know, but I just find it absolutely, when we went into administration and we're all really happy, because we've obviously got where we feel the club needs to be. Now it's just heartbreaking. I mean, I'm watching the players last night. They're flat out. Jan Valery, I thought, had a good game last night. He looked like distraught. They all look really, fed up, and it's just not right. It's just not fair. The one thing the EFL can do is get this takeover consortium sorted ASAP.
I'd love to know how long it's taken elsewhere. How long did Reading take? From the preferred bidder being announced to then the owner actually, signing off and holding a scarf aloft on the pitch and all that sort of stuff. Like how many weeks? How long did it actually take? Same with Reading as well. They're the two that kind of spring to mind. How long did this administration process take? Just so we've got a yardstick, really, to measure it against, because I know they've come out and said it's going to take some time.
Oh yeah, why though?
But that's just like how long's a piece of string, isn't it? Really, I think. Yeah. Just to kind of put our mind at ease, if it takes, let's just say it takes 10 weeks, and we're only 4 or 5 weeks into that process, then you think, all right, okay, we're halfway through. We're not going to, but if it only takes 6 weeks. And then we're nearly, and then we get to 7, 8, 9. You're thinking, well, wait a minute, why is this taking longer? Do you know what I mean? And I think we're well within us rights to starting to question things. You just want to have an idea, just to say, oh, it takes time. And
the longer the administration team are at Hillsborough, the more they're getting paid.
Yeah, there is that as well.
You know what I mean? This is in the back of my mind, James. How long? It's not hurting them, is it? The longer they're at Hillsborough.
Yeah, well, my understanding is that gets paid by the new owners, don't they? Really, that bill gets settled by them. But you're right. The longer that takes, that's just going to get added on in it, and the price is going to ramp.
So we might be selling Barry Bannan just so they can have their morning coffee. How do we know? This is the thing. This is the whole thing about the club. It's just so dysfunctional at the minute. and it really needs the new owners coming in ASAP to put some strategy, some structure. I actually worry getting to the summer and not having a new owner because I still don't think that's enough time to sort it out. They've got to build an entire squad. How many players will we need? 15? 20?
Probably closer to 20 if you think about it. I mean, what we let 13 go, so we need to at least replace 13, and that's if you kept everyone that's in the squad currently. I dare say, Max Lowe won't be here. Bailey Cadamarchi might not be here. We've just been talking about Jan Valery. That's 3 players there. That's 18. Barry Bannan. That's 4. That's 9.
I don't think Ingleson will stay, and I don't think Ingleson will stay because if Ingleson's, I think with you he's League One. I think he's League One, but whether he thinks he's League One and whether Millwall think he's League One, I mean.
Yeah, I just think he'd be good in League One. He's got the hallmarks of a League One player. He likes to get stuck in, and there's some games that you can't play tippy tappy football in League One. You're gonna have to sometimes get a little bit dirty. And I don't mean dirty tackles. I mean like get your knees dirty and stuff like that, and throw yourself about. And he's a Scandinavian Callum Patterson in my eyes, 110%. A bit like Jose Semedo as well, not good, technically not the best player, but just gives his all. And that for me, I'd be quite happy seeing Svante Ingleson in a League One side. To be fair, I think he would do all right. I'm not saying he's going to score more goals, but I think he'd be more effective.
I think you're right. I think he'd be good. I think he'd be great in League One, and he'd have that little bit of pace that he's just lacking in. I mean, there's so many frustrating elements, obviously, as we know, but one of the most ones is when Cadamarti's trying to knock it onto him, and you just know that he's not quick enough.
Yeah, I think they're just not on the same wavelength more than anything else. He's trying to flick it on, and it is what it is. Paul, I'm going to move on because I've got Peter waiting as well. But massive thanks for coming on, mate. Do really appreciate it. As always, Peter, I'll come to you next. I'm just going to read a few more comments out. Annie says, I blame the EFL for the 2 points deductions and the lack of support for the players. Only having 14 first-team players currently fit. How much more can the players be expected to have to put up with? Yeah, well, I did a starting 11 with the injured players, and to be fair, it's not a bad side. But yeah, it's just one thing after another. P. Wednesday says wage cap by new owners, hence Baz potentially leaving. Well, I don't think they can really have a say, can they? Really, they've not. It's all good and well them saying, "We're not going to give you a new deal, so you can go." But I don't think they have that power to do that. And we shouldn't really be. Should we really be listening to them as to what they want to do when they're not the new owners yet? I don't know. Alex says Birmingham fans were vile. There was a comment from a Birmingham fan earlier on actually saying that they were only celebrating like that because Kyoto scored his first goal. It's not that deep. We're having a bit of laugh. Works Up Simon says, "Are you doing a watch along on Saturday?" Yes, I will be, Simon. So join us at about 2:30, 2:45, something like that. I'll be doing a watch along. Hopefully we get. Hopefully it's a better performance than what we have been putting in. Although, like I said, it was all right yesterday. Maybe we can go one step further and actually scoring a goal this time. Matt says, just had a thought about not scoring. Us fans need to do that. Let's pretend we've scored a goal chant that I've seen on YouTube. What have you seen? The one? Is it from I want to say it's from Japan in the J League or somewhere like that. And they've got all them arrows and they're running around like with the arrows kind of pointing towards the goal. I think we need something like that, maybe. Arbroath Owl says Neil Lennon to take over next season. Internal transfer if board takes over. Yeah, would you take that, Neil Lennon, as your manager next season? Ronald says Beer's last chance to get in a World Cup. Good luck. He's elected. I mean it nicely, but I he's not been in a Scotland squad for what since I think someone said 2017. He's not suddenly just gonna be in the World Cup squad. When I read that bit, that's kind of why when I read that Sky Sports article last week, I thought it were a bit of a joke because I was like, nah, like World Cup chances of getting in the World Cup squad. Look, I mean, if it happens, fair play, but I can't see that at all, to be honest. Let's have a look. What else? Ronald says need to play 2 up top at home. Cads and McNeil were building great relationships, and we got to stop playing suicide football in defence. Well, for me, it was Cads and George Brown. I thought that partnership for me, it was them two, and then it was Jamal Lowe and Ugbo, weren't it? And I was like, I don't want to see them two. I want to see Cadamarteri and Brown, but obviously we all know what happened to George Brown. Jack the Foxhole Owl said Valerie looked like he was just going through the motions and ready for off. I thought that at the weekend. I thought he did play better yesterday after agree, whether that's just a bit of jet lag or a bit of fatigue from the AFCON. Not too sure. Right, let's come to Peter. Then I'll come to some more comments a little bit later on. Peter, how's things, mate? You okay?
Yeah, all good, mate. You?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you very much. It's just, I said, it's going to get worse before it gets better, but it just seems like every day there's something else, isn't there? Really, that you're thinking like, just I don't know how bad it is going to get until it does get better. To be honest,
it's like living the Mick McCarthy meme, isn't it? In real life, it's constantly. But I don't know. It's I keep thinking the pain has got to stop, or all this bad luck's got to stop soon. But
it's the injuries for one. What's that now? 12 players that are out injured at the moment. You've got Harry Mass that's gone back as well, so you can kind of add him to that list really. And then and then we're potentially talking about the players that are fit. Some of them could be leaving. Like for example, for all Bailey Cadamarteri is not hit the ground running this season. He's not been firing on all cylinders. I know we're a poor side and everything, but even still, 2 goals. You'd like to think he'd have a few more than that. If he was to go, like who else do we use? Like who else do we play? Because we simply haven't got anyone, have we?
Well, I think the answer to that is, and I'm not saying it should be the answer. It'd probably stick Jamal Lowe up front, and that's not even an answer, is it? It's an embarrassing answer. Failing that, you're looking at the likes of Devlin Moses and youngsters, Devlin Moses, Will Granger, Onkawoli from the kids. I keep saying it's where we are, and it's horrible to have to say it, but it's what that so and so's left us with, and where we've ended up, and it's just. Have I just heard something? I caught the back end of Paul's chat 'cause I was a bit late. I was doing some work tonight, and has something come out about Valerie going elsewhere, or would that just
I heard that Millwall had a meeting yesterday with the club or with Kevin Beadle, and by all accounts, that was they inquired about Jan Valerie. So
okay.
I've also heard that that Rangers could also be interested in him, which I do you know what?
Not surprised
that could be a really lazy link. Danny Röhl obviously brought Jan Valerie in. He had Jan Valerie at Southampton, didn't he, when he was his assistant manager? Again, that would be I'd expect that to see that on TalkSport somewhere at some point. But it would make perfect sense. And if he's in the World Cup squad for Tunisia and playing for Rangers, then. Yeah, I get that one, but it's just I've not seen it kind of confirmed anywhere or anything anywhere else, but it's something that I have heard.
Yeah, it's all very. It's a continual frustration. It's like that nagging headache that won't go away, and it's just. I keep saying it, and I'm finding them. I said to you the other day privately, it's the motivation part of going to a match is very hard to get yourself up for any game. We should be buzzing for this weekend for Bristol City.
Well, Big Revs has just said never felt so disconnected with the club, even when he was the owner.
Yeah.
Because I do get that. I think when he was there, our previous owner, obviously can't say his name, obvious reasons. He, I think as a fan base, we were galvanised, weren't we? To a certain extent, it came and went. I must admit throughout the process, but on the whole, when the trust got their act together and stuff, it was very much everyone's together and in it together. Now that's kind of gone. It's almost like there's nothing bringing us together. There's no wins that you can celebrate. You're not jumping up and celebrating with that person that sits at the side of you or whatever. That randomer that's just there. It's all you just go. You watch the 90 minutes. They score and you go and then you walk home again, don't you? And then that's it. So I do get where he's coming from. It's like soul destroying at the moment.
Well, I stood next to a lad last night who I've not seen since Wickham away. I think it's 2.5 seasons ago. We both sort of recognised each other. and that was the day we started singing the Firmino, Reece James in attack, Reece James at the back, Firmino at the back, and all that kind of stuff. Windass in attack, and like it just shows you. And he said straight away, "Son, he's like, hi, mate, how you doing?" And then his next words were, "Who would have thought we'd have been in this position?" And I said to him straight away, "I'd give everything to be back in that position now. I'd give absolutely everything, because that were the kind of day that you wanted. It would have sellout away attendance, crap little ground, but everybody were together. They were the sort of like your text message just said. There were none of this. There were a little bit of infighting. We were arguing that Alex Mighton were a pile of crap, and that we're going to be in net. Were it Cam Dawson or whoever else should be in the net at that stage, and we'd got the likes of George. It was the day that we ended up with George Byers and Reece James getting carried off that day, but it was also the day that Will Vault scored that 30-yard thunderblaster into top corner. But it's little bits like that you get memories from. But now we've got, my memory of this Saturday, I'll be catching train at 8:10 from Elsica. That's it. And having a couple of beers on the way down and thinking, great. But I had a text message tonight saying we've only got 28 tickets left. Well, that's a fantastic following, and it is. It's amazing for the team that's like, even if we hadn't had the -18 took offers, we're still
11.
Shit.
We're on 11. We're on 11 points. Yeah.
Yeah, we're still at 11, and then me and you'll be having this conversation about, well, if we can get these so many points away, we can get these points back. Me and you we'd be geeing people up saying it's doable. It's doable.
Well,
When really it's not. I heard you say that. This 7. It'd be nice to get to zero and get some minus points,
or 1. Do you know what I mean? Just get to 1 point.
Or 1. But you countered that straight away by saying, "But who the bloody hell's going to score for us?" You know what I mean? It's
that's my problem. Like at the start of the season, we were scoring.
We don't create, we just don't create.
No, and I think as well, teams just know how to play against us. I think teams, Birmingham fans were obviously irate because it was 0-0 at half time, but you just know.
Yeah.
I think, like I said at the top, obviously we hit the post, and I think that kind of made them think, "Oh, wait a minute, like we have to step it up here a bit." I think teams just play it within themselves, make us run around a bit, knowing that we're going to get to 60 minutes and we're going to tire. And all you've got to do is just turn it on a bit, and you see it every single week. And then we just can't compete at that point. Then mistakes creep in. Cole McGee right at the death. Absolutely knackered that lad, and just underhits his pass, and then it's a goal, and it's such fine margins that we're talking about at this level. All it takes is like for example the Portsmouth one. I gave Palmer a bit of stick for not running back. It's just one thing, like one player doesn't run back, bang, goal. Or one mistake from Gabe as the ball comes across, doesn't get enough on it, bang, goal, 1-0, you've lost the game. That's it. And club teams know that we will make at least one mistake in the game. And
they're going to get a gold opportunity at some point during the game. Definitely.
Yeah, exactly. And as long as you take it, and then that's it. And once you get one goal ahead, well, we've already seen that. Once you concede that first goal, I think there's only Wrexham where we've come back after conceding the first goal. Obviously, we drew 2-2 with Wrexham, didn't we? But other than that, we just don't come back from anything. And the squad's getting smaller and smaller as we speak. I mean, what is your take on the whole? Players can potentially leave, or the administrators are looking at what was the word? Fair offers, I think was the wording that was used.
I think the way I'm reading it all, and I think quite a few are as well, is that they've got an inkling that this consortium aren't going to get the green light from the EFL, so they're covering all bases to save themselves a lot of unnecessary grief. That's the way I pick up from it. The Bannan'S sale can only be described as extremely sad. That it's come to all this with him, because I'm sure deep down he don't want to leave.
I've heard some people have said that they've spoke to him and he said he doesn't want to leave, and I kind of get that.
I get that,
because I guess if it is a case of we're open to offers, it sounds really, for there to be no interest in any of the players, then all of a sudden in this past week, Bailey Cadamartre, Barry Bannan, Max
Valerie.
Lowe as well. Well, the Jan Valerie one hasn't come out in the public domain yet or anything, but for all of a sudden them three there, 9 clubs. I don't. For people that have played Football Manager, you can do the thing where you just offer your player out to clubs and see who comes back. To have 9, you're not telling me that that's just 9 people that have gone, oh, Bailey Cadamartri, I'll have a look at him. We've clearly, someone somewhere, whether it's his agent or whatever, has clearly put his name out there. To get 9 clubs interested in him, that's,
I think the other thing that gets missed in it, James, is that it's a cut price. It's almost a fire sale, isn't it? It's cut price because the club have already opened, not the club, but the administrators already openly said that it's their duty to look at all fair and reasonable offers.
Well, if you're going to put a bid, if you're another club and you're going to buy someone from a club that's in administration, you are not going to pay top dollar for them.
No, you're not.
No.
No.
If you go to a closing down, if it says Sports Direct closing down sale, you're not expected to see everything at full price, are you? When you walk in,
no, of course you're not.
I know we've not done that. We haven't put the for sale sign outside. But even so, if you know that someone's struggling, they're desperate for money, they're going to take any offer. You're going to get put a cheeky bid in and see if they accept it, because they're just your hands are tied behind your back. And I guess as it stands at the moment, we've got 10, 11 days or whatever it is until the window shuts. After that, then we've got to wait until the summer. And if to get any sort of substantial money in for players, we're not going to sell anything on tickets. I mean, I think that's a massive factor as well. That the massive influx of ticket sales and shirt sales. I mean, there's only so many times you can buy something from the shop. Once you've bought your shirts and stuff, the other stuff in the shops, not great. Like I'll hold my hands up and say that I don't think all the other stuff is good at all. So once you've bought the things that you want to buy, if they say, "Oh, we need you to put your hands in your pocket again," you're going, "Well, I'm not. There's nothing to buy. I've already bought all my shirts."
You've already done it twice. Yeah. You bought a jacket. You bought an overpriced teddy bear. You bought another price. Yeah, and you bought the bedding. You bought the curtains.
And you're not going to buy the tickets because, I mean, there's a deal on, isn't there, for members for Valentine's Day. You buy 2 tickets for 15 quid each or something like that. But
it's in Valentine's Day for somebody you love.
Well,
you're going to take them to Hillsborough.
I know, I don't know, but I mean, I saw someone as well. It's Millwall in it on Valentine's Day, and then someone put they should have used Barry Bannan and kind of another chance to see Baz. I mean, that would be awful, wouldn't it? Really, I dread to think about it. To be fair, try not to.
I think that you mentioned the word lazy journalism earlier, and I think that probably applies to the comments about Bannan trying to get in the World Cup squad, because there's no way he's going to get into any World Cup squad. I can see him going to. I can seem to go into any other Championship club, especially the ones who are trying to get promoted, like a Stoke or a Millwall, or them who are in and around the playoffs, like a Preston and something like that. Purely because they can get him for a relatively small fee, but B, if he does get him, to help him to get him to the promised land, then it's worth having him to pay to give him a nice bonus. And
of course it is. I think for me, and I will hold my hands up with this one as well, I think I do take Barry Bannan for granted, 100%.
I think we all do, James, because he was like a what do you call it? He was like a cheat code in League One, weren't it? All them, 4 or 5 years ago, it was absolutely pinching money to have, to get Bannan to an assist or a goal. It really were.
The big thing for me though is how many opposition fans absolutely despise the bloke. Honestly,
every club we play,
Birmingham sing. I get. Yeah. Obviously, the Villa links and stuff, but they're singing about him. Who was it? A couple of week backs that were singing about him as well. I can't remember who.
Derby were the same.
Derby was singing about him, like singing more songs about him and us than they did about their own club and stuff. Yeah. And I look at on Patreon, but basically I put a bit of an article together where I look at the forums and stuff and on socials and post like the comments that opposition fans have been talking about during the game and stuff, and the amount of times that they mention him, the amount of times that I think it was QPR as well saying like he always plays well against us and stuff like that. Portsmouth fans saying this, all the fans that we come up against all the kid teams we come up against, they all talk about him, and then we again. I do admit I do take him for granted. He's top of the in terms of like shot creating actions, so like key passes and things like that. He's always at the top constantly. He's 3 and 4 on average every single game, which other players aren't at that sort of level, and he does it consistently, doesn't he? And he plays the amount of games that he's played as well. Like just he plays minimum 40 games every single season, which is mad, isn't it, for a man of his age? Really, when you've got
it's an amazing. His stats are amazing, James, and it's only in the last couple of years as his age has got on that the injuries have that if you want to cut out, I can say injury, the odd injury has crept in.
I'm just looking at Nathaniel Shalabar now. You add up he's not. I bet he's not even played 200 games in his career, and he's 31. Barry Bannan's played 450 odd for Wednesday. Just us. Do you know what I mean?
And Nathan Redden will be similar, won't he? Or did he play quite a lot early on in his career, something like that? But to me, whilst I'd hate to see him go, he owes us absolutely nothing, and we owe him our eternal gratitude. Yes, he may have been well paid, and footballers can be well paid, but like I've always said, it's a relatively short career, and Barry Bannan's been one of the lucky ones. He's had a long and whilst it might not have been successful for trophies and medals, etc., it goes down with the for me as one of I would say it's certainly in the top 3 or 4 Wednesday players I've ever seen. And I have seen some really bad players, and I've seen some. He's got to be in the. You got to put him in the likes of Waddle, Sheridan, Des Walker, Di Canio in terms of for skill and just everything about the man, and the way he's led the club as a captain and a figurehead in the last 10 years. I'm talking like it's an obituary, like he's passed away. Bless him. You know what I mean?
It feels like it, doesn't it? He's not even Peter. He's not even gone yet.
No, I know, but
he's still here.
We're all when we open Twitter, I'm half expecting to see the Joe Cran or the Alex Miller post saying, or a post from the club saying Barry's gone to Millwall or Preston or wherever. It's just
because I think for me, sooner rather than later. I mean, I suppose we could just wait until the end of the month, I guess. But a free win would be for him to come out and say he's staying until the end. Do you know what I mean? I think that'll just give the fans a boost, to say he's staying until the end of the season, and you'll go, oh, right, okay, right. Nobody can take him now until the end of the season. Obviously, his deal's done then. Hopefully, we get new owners in, and then hopefully, if he stays. I know I've mentioned kind of maybe potentially just. I've kind of almost prepared myself for moving on from him, and I think longer term that's something that you'd like to do. But I just think certainly for the now, when everyone's absolutely down in the dumps, don't even want to come, don't even want to turn up to any games, I think him or the club or whatever, just saying I'm staying, or just putting an Instagram post on, I'm staying. It would just give everyone a bit of a lift, a much needed lift at this moment in time.
Not that he needs it, but it'd raise his status and even, in much needed, in a much needed time, it'd raise him to a different level to any other player that probably played for us, because I were around in 74, 75 when it was low, and this feels far worse. But I were a kid then, so you don't feel it when you're a kid, and those sort of memories have been sort of, I won't say erased, but they've been washed away a little bit by the successes that we've had in the past 40, 50 years. It does. Football's one of them. It's a very emotional, very emotive game, and I said it last week to you. It's something I want to be up for on a Saturday. I want to be looking forward to Bristol City. I want to be looking forward to Derby away and Hull away in a few weeks' time, and that kind of stuff. And it's very difficult to, it really is. I'm tempted not to go to Swansea. Really, I'm getting up at 4:30, 5 o'clock to drive down there and that, because train's going to be a nightmare and stuff like that. And it's just I think, what the fucking hell am I doing? Why would anybody in the right mind go to Swansea to watch Wednesday? You know,
Pete, it's because you love it, mate. Like top and bottom
I
is you
do.
love it, and you've done it for so long, and it's.
What have I got? I don't need the fucking points, and it's not for not the foot. You can't be FOMO because what am I missing out?
It's force of habit. It's force of habit as well, isn't it?
One thing I'm missing out is my beans and toast and scrambled eggs on a Sunday morning. Christ, it's not, and I'll end up eating loads of crap, loads of Greggs, loads of,
I know
stuff that I shouldn't do, and it's like I get even fatter, and it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, why?
But, Peter, I'm going to have to move on because I've got a couple of people who want to speak and we haven't got long left. But Peter, massive thanks for coming on, man.
All right,
do really appreciate it as always. I'm going to come to Wawa, who I think is Matt. I presume it's Matt. Matt, are you there?
I am, mate. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, mate. What do you want to talk about, pal?
A bit about Bazza first.
Go on, then.
We've got to let him go. If he wants to go, let him go. He's been a stalwart for us for 10 years, and the club has basically shit on him last few years. So why would he want to stay in the situation we're in? He's signed a contract begrudgingly, I think. Beginning of this season just started, thinking takeover's going to come. I'm going to get a new contract, get back onto 20 odd grand a week, and it's not happened. And now there's a big hoo-ha about him leaving. I get it, but it's not the Bannan of 8 years ago. It's not the Bannan of 5 years ago. If you put him now in a top 5 championship side, I don't think you'd kind of see him, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I don't know. He's still well up there in terms of the contributions that he makes in terms of key passes. You saw, I mean,
that's in our side, though, isn't it?
Well, I know, but I think personally, I mean, just purely from a curiosity point of view, I would love to see what he's like in a better side.
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
we've not seen him play. I mean, when he was alongside other players in that central midfielder role, when he were alongside Shea Charles.
Yeah,
I think he looked a much better player because he trusted him, and he was alongside someone of an equal standard, maybe.
1,000,000%.
So I feel like if he comes up with some other players that are Millwall players are better than what we've got at the moment, but certainly they're better in terms of form. I would be interested to see what he's like when he's putting those passes in and he's got someone else that's on the same wavelength as him. So like I said, I don't want him to leave from a Wednesday perspective. I just don't want it to end this way. I think it'd be so shit.
It wouldn't be a great way for him to go, would it? I like what you said a minute ago, James, by maybe him saying, listen, right, lads, I'm going to stay till the end of the season, but I'm going.
Yeah, and if he says that, but you know what? Like that if anything, the money that we might make from him, from selling him, I dare say, if he said we'd probably make that. We're not going to sell any tickets. We're not unless we start winning games, it's not going to happen. No. But if he come out and said, "I'm going at the end of the season," you'd sell out every game. Well, not every game,
probably,
but you'd sell out quite a few of them because you'd be like, totally. I want to see Barry Bannan's last goal.
Yeah. I want to see his last touch, his last pass.
Well, yeah, but
his celebration.
Certainly the last game of the season. But you'll get people thinking, well, I can't get a ticket for the last game. What if I can't get a ticket? So I'm going to come to one before, or I'm going to come to what?
1,000,000%.
That will happen, and you'll probably sell more in ticket sales than you would from actually getting rid of him. Like I know you're going to save on his wages, but it's $7,000 a week, which all right, that is a bit of a saving, but. We still need to bring someone else in to replace him. You can't just not have him. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. What's your kind of overall mood at the moment, then, Matt? When you think a lot of people are just very despondent at the moment. What's your?
I'm the same. You know what? Like sometimes I don't even watch it. Sometimes now, James.
Yeah.
Like I won't even put it on because I know what's happening. I know it'll go 0-0 till half time. Come 60 minutes, my phone will go ding, 1-0 down. I'm like that, right, okay. And then next thing, it'll either be 2-0 or it'll end 1-0. And I watched it. I I bleed blue and white. I always have, always will. But it's killing me to see it.
Yeah.
You know, to actually watch it and see how it is and how it's become. It's just absolutely wow. It's like it hurts, man. It hurts.
Yeah,
Really does.
you're not alone. There's a lot of people that are going to be feeling exactly the same way. Like I said, people chose not to come yesterday. You know, again, I must admit, I didn't see anything other than a Birmingham win. You know, certainly when you heard that, you know, Yasser Alau injured. Was he injured? Was it because Chelsea sniffed? I've no idea.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But then, you know, but let's take it at face value that he was injured, and then you've got Sean Fazia. I mean, I feel like I gave him the kiss of death because I did say at the weekend that they both had a decent game, you know, against Portsmouth, all things considering. And the next minute they're both injured. So I'm
just blaming you then, James.
Well, I'm just waiting for Jaden Heskey to suddenly not be available for Saturday, and then, you know, it's literally anyone who's playing any sort, you know, George Brown, it happened to him, Ernie Weaver, you know, it's happening to everyone at the moment. It's just one thing after another, and it's difficult.
Yeah. It's like a domino effect, isn't it? And this domino line going on forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be ending. Matt, I'm going to move on because I haven't got long left, and I've got big artist show. But cheers for coming on, pal. Make sure.
Can I just say, anyone who's listening, can you come and join our Facebook group, WAWAW? Loads of stuff going off, giveaways and all that. Thank you very much.
Matt, you beat me to it. I was just about to say exactly that same thing, but you beat me to it.
You can say it if you want, go on.
Join his Facebook group. Is 8,000 members or something like that.
Yeah, touching 7 nearly now.
There we go. So go and join it. Get involved in all the discussions.
Cheers,
and
pal.
everything.
Speak to you next week.
No problem. Cheers, Matt. Thank you very much. Let's come to Big Artie Show then before we wrap things up. How's it going, mate? You all right?
Yeah, good, James. How's it all going? It's, as you say, everybody's despondent. I think the thing for me to describe it all, it's the Pink Floyd song "Comfortably Numb."
Yeah.
We're just going through it all now. It's like we know there's an execution coming. We just don't know when we're going to drop from gallows. And I know it's horrible to say, but we're just dying a death to go down to League One, and everything what we're trying, you know, we're trying as best to be upbeat and everything like that, and it's just slowly grinding everybody down. You know, I've not been on socials as often as what I had been before administration. I've tried to get myself away from it all.
Yeah.
Because it was just driving me nuts. And to be honest, our lass was getting more nuts than what I was. So I've had to just cut it down because it just really was just getting me really not necessarily upset, but more of everything just getting on top, where you're just thinking, oh my God, whatever next? And as you quite rightly said just earlier, it'd be nice to have a timeline from EFL of that this process takes 12 weeks or it takes 6 weeks or whatever. And if they've failed a certain part, then you need to announce it so that we're aware of it. But again,
I think that's more
we know info.
Yeah, I think that's more. So people are going to say, "Oh, we don't need to know that," and I get that, but I'm just seeing people just losing touch with the football club. You've just mentioned it there, like you're not even. You know, I've seen people in the Discord chat today saying, like, someone saying, "No, I didn't even know there are any other matches on today." Like just totally just not knowing who we're playing next, when normally you've got all the fixtures mapped out and stuff. And it's for me, it's more. Just if we just know, it might just give you a little bit of hope, just a little bit of understanding or something. Because at the moment, we're in the dark, and the worst thing for me, when you look at like the Derby administration, when they keep banging on about them going into admin, they still had a squad that was capable of winning football matches. So you've got a bit of a distraction. Do you know what I mean? You've got the like we'd have a distraction yesterday and we win a game, and rather than talking about all this, we're talking about how good with that goal that we scored yesterday, or what about that win, or whatever it may be, or we might have a chance of staying up. You've got all that to occupy your mind. Whereas instead, we haven't got those distractions, have we at all?
We've got nothing to just go. oh, we need to go to Hillsborough because we need to see what the front two are going to do, or are they going to get provided? And as you say, you're looking at, is defence going to hold out, and are we going to, are we going to, are we going to have a clean sheet or whatever? Looking for distractions. We've got no distractions. We've got literally nothing to distract us. It's like you get up, you go to a game, you watch them lose, you get on bus, you go home for tea, and that's about it. Rinse, repeat, innit? And
Yeah.
that's where we're currently at. And I think if we can just, I think what we need for a closure for us as fans is the time when we get relegated, because to be honest, we know we're getting relegated. We just know we need to know when we're going to get relegated. Because I'd hope that if once we've got relegated, we just throw shackles off. I don't even know why we're not throwing shackles
Well,
off
I
now,
know, yeah.
because we're over 36 points from safety. 36 points. That means we need to rely on teams to not win for 12 games to give us an inkling. So it's unachievable. So we might as well, if we're going to get tonked 4-0, 5-0, so what? But if we've gone out and give them a good old, a good 45, 60 minutes, even 90 minutes, God forbid, that we just at them, and we can turn around and go, oh, God, we got beat 3-0, 4-0, whatever. But at least we had a crack at them, and we give them some, or give fans that chance to cheer to have a goal or something like that. I think now there's no point in being cautious because we're going to be down. My worry now is if we keep losing points and other teams above us start gaining points to open up that void, that thing, I can see that we'll end up getting relegated at Lane.
Well,
And can you imagine that? And can you imagine that?
So I looked at that. We need to be 40, 41 or 42 points adrift by the time we play them. Let's not forget that we play them on Sunday, so everyone else would have played already on the Saturday. So if we are, like I said, 40, 41 or 42 points adrift, because there are, is there something like these... how many 13 games left after that one, so there's 39 points left. So if the gap's 39, then obviously we don't go down because well, you mathematically you're not relegated. So if it's 40, we'd need a point. A draw would be good enough to stay up. If it's 41 and 42, then we'd need to beat them to not. Well, I said to stay up, to not be relegated on that day. But do you know what? I was thinking about that because I'll be there. I'll be in that away end at the Lane, and I feel like it's going to be very moving. Because I feel like it's going to be just non-stop singing throughout, constant. We'll probably outsing the home fan, their fans as well. And irrespective of what the score is, it could be 4-0, it could be 5-0 or whatever, but we'll just be, Wednesday till I die and all that, just constant singing throughout the whole 90 minutes, staying right till the end, and just kind of a bit of togetherness, if you know, do you know what I mean? And it'll be like weird in it just in a really strange way. I'm dreading it, but also, I think it might just bring us together as fans. To be fair,
it's going to be a surreal moment. It would be a surreal moment. You're singing and belting your hearts, your voice and chanting your heart's content and everything like that, knowing that whatever's going to happen. But again, it's pulling it together, because ultimately we need to cut this season out of our memories. And the only way we're going to do it is, unfortunately, we're going to get relegated, but we need a new owner announced by that time, and then we can say, right, there's 12 games left or 13 games left. Let's look at what we're going to do and who we could play in positions for next season, who we'd want to try and keep on, try and some of the youngsters and that, because they are trying their best. Bless them, every last one of them are trying their best. But we need to then start looking at the recovery, because that's what we've got to aim for now. It's a recovery from League One, and whether that's going to be an instant bounce back, unlikely. or it's going to be a slow rebuild to then push after second season in League One or something like that. But we need to start building that for foundations, and once we get I think once we get that ownership issue out of the way, it'll be interesting then who they set up as their board members. Because if we've got board members such as a CEO, a director of football, a chief operating officer who has Premier League Championship experience, then that means that's a message to say that they are ambitious. If we've got people who are, League One, to bottom of the league championship or something like that, it's have they got that ambition to get us back into the championship? Because ultimately, we need Pedersen to be, as you said before, we need him to be the trainer. We don't want him as the manager, and we need someone to take that responsibility off him and just say, Enric, you are now the trainer. Concentrate on that.
I mean, I know he's not available now, but he might be come the end of the season because nobody stays in that Huddersfield job very long. Is Liam Manning? I'd have had, if we're talking just next season and stuff, and obviously he's gone to League One, hasn't he? With Huddersfield, like I said, he might be available when we need him. To be honest, but I would have had someone like him. Right, I'm gonna wrap things up.
No problem, mate.
Thanks for joining me. I do really appreciate it. I could talk for.
I'll sound a bit happier next time.
Will you? What? Will we win a game? If we've won on Saturday, maybe you might a little bit, but no. I mean, talking about games, they are losing as it stands. Our dear neighbours, they've got a minute left. They're losing 1-0 to Southampton. But look, we can't even capitalise on that and call it a Sheffield double, can we, or anything like that?
No.
But no. Again,
cheers, mate.
Cheers for coming on, pal. Do really appreciate it. I hope everyone has enjoyed. Well, enjoys the wrong word, isn't it? But this hour and a half of therapy that we've had, the 90 minutes of the. I need to call it the therapy show, not the debate show, because there's not much to debate, is there? To be honest, it's all pretty. Everyone agreeing with themselves. I don't think I ever read the results of the poll. I think it was something like 53%. I think said yes to. They think Barry Bannan is going to leave at the end of this transfer window. I'm still a bit undecided. I think I'm trying to mentally prepare myself for him leaving, but obviously deep down, of course, you don't want that to happen, do you? Really? Thanks everyone for getting involved. If you've come up and had a chat, great stuff. If you've got in the comments, equally, thank you very much. Make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel. We've got 4,600, I think, subscribers at the moment. Can we get up to that 5,000 mark by the end of the season? Hopefully we can. But no, thank you very much, everyone. I will be back on Saturday, same place, YouTube, for a watch along for the Bristol City game. So make sure you join us for that one. It'll be a good laugh nonetheless, and hopefully, we might have a shot on target in that game. But no, thank you very much, everyone, and I'll see you all on Saturday. Cheers.